Alright, hey everybody, currently we are on sound wave chapter. So in this chapter, the part C is about characteristic of sound. Okay, so there are three characteristics of the sound which we have already seen during the lecture. I'm going to record it once again. Okay, so basically there are three characteristics: loudness, pitch and quality, which is also known as timbre. So I'm going to begin with the quality or timbre. Okay, this characteristic of the sound help us to distinguish between two different sounds. Okay, it help us to recognize the particular sound. So for example, right now I'm recording this lecture. You know my voice, right? You know this is our physics teacher is uh, you know explaining these terms here. So because you know my voice, you can recognize me. So that characteristic of the sound is known as timbre. So there are two ways. Basically, there are two ways to distinguish a sound: by listening. By listening. By listening only you can distinguish between two sounds. And there is one more way. There is one more way. Another way to differentiate between two sound is to check their waveform. ठीक है, waveform. By waveform I mean wave diagram. Like sound is produced by vibration. So for vibration, this is the waveform. This is a single frequency, as you can see here. All the frequencies are simple form. Okay, so we call it waveform. So quality depends upon waveform, and there are two ways using which we can distinguish between two sounds, either by listening or by checking its waveform. So let me give you a few more examples related to quality. Check this one. As you can see, different musical instruments, they produce different types of waveform. Okay, this is tuning fork, single frequency, for example 256 hertz. Okay, single frequency means simple waveform. Now musical instruments, musical instrument now musical instrument, they have multiple frequencies. So how can we know that actually? Is there any device to see or check this or observe these waveforms? Yes, we do have. We call it oscilloscope. Okay, as you can see this screen, there is a microphone here. Okay, and this is the vibrating tuning fork, and this device converts sound wave into these waveforms. So as you can see, this is the waveform of tuning fork, single frequency. Now let me show you the waveform of musical instrument. Acha, here the tuning fork is not vibrating, so there are no waveforms on the screen. Now check this one, this clarinet. This is a musical instrument, and you can check the waveforms. Okay, there are multiple vibrations are there. We call them harmonics. Okay, harmonics. Now what is harmonics? That you will learn in higher classes. Okay, as you can see here as well, fluid, multiple frequencies are there, multiple vibrations are there in this sound, even human voice. Okay, so by looking at the waveform, okay, by looking at this waveform, we can say that these sounds are different. Either by listening or by checking the waveform, we can distinguish between two sounds. So this quality is known as timbre. Okay, timbre. Now let me show you one more picture. Yeah, this is from class 8th basically. Now if I ask you a question, which waveform belongs to musical instrument? Okay, what will be your answer then? This is single frequency. This might be of tuning fork. This is also single frequency. Simple waveform. This is also single frequency. But as you can see here, okay, waveform is something different. So this is waveform of musical instrument. Okay, because as you can see in this waveform, multiple frequencies are present. So this is how, by observing the waveform or by listening the sound, we can distinguish between two sounds, and this property of sound is known as timbre. Okay, this is known as timbre. Yeah, so this is the definition of the timbre. It distinguishes different types of sound production. ठीक है, so we can distinguish between different sound just by checking at the waveform. So timbre or quality depends upon waveform. ठीक है, this is the factor on which quality or timbre depends. Now let's talk about pitch and frequency. Okay, high pitch, high frequency, low pitch, low frequency. Basically, as you can see by looking at the diagram waveform, you can say that this is low pitch and this is high pitch frequency. So frequency depends upon pitch, or you can say pitch depends upon the frequency. So frequency is what generated by any musical instrument, and pitch what we hear. So this is a subjective property. Subjective means we are subject, ठीक है, and frequency is objective property. Objective means it is produced by the object. Now if we are having any problem in our ear, our hearing capability is not that good, then we will not be able to hear the exact sound. So frequency is what we can measure, pitch we hear. They both are related basically. Low pitch, low frequency, high pitch, high frequency. So one example, tiger, roaring of the tiger, and mosquito. So mosquito, they produce high pitch frequency. Okay, in case of girls and boys, girls, they produce high pitch frequency, the sound of high pitch, and boys, their sound is generally flat, so that is of low pitch. You just need to remember that frequency depends upon the pitch. This is the depending factor. Now let's talk about loudness. So loudness basically depends upon amplitude. Okay, this is the first factor, loudness. It depends upon amplitude. So by observing the amplitude, I can say that this is soft sound and this is loud sound. So this is soft sound, and in case of loud sound the amplitude will be high. Okay, this is loud sound and this is soft sound. Okay, amplitude, apart from that, it depends upon the distance. Okay, so suppose that there is a speaker. Okay, this is the symbol of speaker, and suppose that there are two listeners, one is standing close and one is standing away from the speaker. So obviously for this observer, for this listener, the sound will be loud, and for this listener the sound will be feeble or having less amplitude, less intensity. It will be a dull sound, So further you go from the source, loudness decreases. So distance is another factor. So loudness is inversely proportional to the distance. Distance increases, loudness decreases. Third factor is area. How come area? Now for example, small bell, bells in the temple, and in the church we are having large bell. ठीक है, चर्च की जो bells होती है, they are generally very very large. I am unable to draw it properly. I hope you understand it. चर्च में जो bells होती है basically they are quite large, and in the temple we are having small bells. ठीक है, and in the church we are having very large bells. So चर्च की जो bells है basically it produces loud sound. Okay, why loud sound? Because the area is large, so the large area is vibrating. It means the sound will be loud. So it depends upon the area of vibrating body. ठीक है ना, जो टेम्पल्स में जो बेल्स होती है छोटी होती है, कम साउंड प्रोड्यूस करती है. चर्च की जो बेल्स होती है वो बहुत बड़ी होती है, इट प्रोड्यूसेस लाउड साउंड. सो एरिया. अच्छा, देयर इज़ वन मोर फैक्टर. there is one more factor, not one more, actually there are two more factor. ठीक है, two more factor का क्या है देखो, basically resonating body. What is the meaning of this actually? Now in case of guitar, ठीक है, guitar works on resonance. Now inside the guitar there is a hollow box, ठीक है, there is air inside, we call it sound box. So if sound box is not there, guitar will not produce loud sound. So it means resonating body, जैसे कि guitar हो गया, in case of that resonance tube, that tube is there, inside air is there, air vibrates and it produces loud sound. In case of flute, air is there, ठीक है, so flute is also a resonating body. So if resonating body is there like guitar, air column in flute, air column in case of sonometer, so loudness will also increase. ठीक है, तो गिटार एक एग्जांपल है. गिटार का जो बॉक्स होता है, गिटार का जो साउंड बॉक्स होता है वो हॉलो होता है, उसके अंदर एयर होता है. तो एयर जब वाइब्रेट करती है, ठीक है, एंड ड्यू टू रेजोनेंस इट प्रोड्यूसेस लाउड साउंड. सो दिस इज अनदर फैक्टर. एंड फिफ्थ फैक्टर इज डेंसिटी. ठीक है, डेंसिटी. इन डिफरेंट केसेस द लाउडनेस ऑफ द साउंड विल बी डिफरेंट. सो बेसिकली दीज आर द फैक्टर्स ऑन विच लाउडनेस डिपेंड्स. अब क्वेश्चन कैसे आते हैं एग्जाम में वो देखते हैं. ठीक है, आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दी थ्री कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ द साउंड एंड द फैक्टर्स ऑन विच दे डिपेंड. ठीक है, क्वालिटी डिपेंड करता है वेव फॉर्म पे, पिच डिपेंड्स अपॉन फ्रिक्वेंसी एंड लाउडनेस डिपेंड्स अपॉन द एम्पलीट्यूड ऑफ द वेव.